Hi, I'm Tom. This is probably going to be a very quick video, but I thought it would make for an interesting one, especially if you're just getting started out. Seeing what is possible is always inspiring. Every now and then, I like to take a look at how the competition are doing. Not necessarily my direct competitors, but the general top selling stores on Etsy, or at least the top ones that look like print-on-demand stores. This allows me to see what they are doing good that I can then implement in my own business. This, however, does not mean copying their designs. This time, I was trying to see if there was a correlation with the number of listings to the amount of sales a store gets, what the general price of a shirt was, how many offered free shipping, whether they were running sales or not, and a few other bits that I'll get into shortly. So while I got all this data from a public source, and all the stores are public, I don't think it's fair to show you the store names, since I know this could cause an influx of copycats. I know some people will hate this, but hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from. In case you're watching this sometime in the future, this data is from the beginning of February 2022. So let's take a look at the data. First, let's look at the pricing. So without placing an order, I can't know what model shirt they are using. However, most of the product images were of the Bella Canvas 3001, and a few were using Comfort Color shirts. Either way, the pricing per shirt, including the shipping costs, range from $14 all the way up to $29 per shirt, giving us an average price of $21.91 per shirt. I've priced my shirts between $21 and $23, depending on the sale I run. So going by this data, I seem to fit into the average, which is good. Looking at how many offer free shipping, it's just about a 50-50 split. So I think if you're just setting up your store and can't decide whether to go with free shipping or not, then to be honest, I don't think it makes that much difference, especially on Etsy anyway. I've experimented with offering free shipping and charging for shipping, and I've not really seen any changes in order numbers. However, I have stuck with free shipping since I believe Etsy gives free shipping listings some priority in search rankings. Moving on to active sales, this is what surprised me the most. Basically, every store was running some sort of sale. Only 3 out of the 31 stores were not actually running a sale. Now, this doesn't mean that they've actually discounted the shirts. This is just a selling tactic used pretty much everywhere. You basically raise your prices by 30% and then offer a 30% discount. I definitely saw an increase in sales when I started using this tactic myself. I would definitely recommend implementing this in your own stores if you haven't already. The average percent sales seem to be around 20 to 30%. I imagine this is the sweet spot. Having your listings on a 20% sale usually means your listings get put into the sales section on Etsy, which then naturally increases views and sales, etc. Moving on to the number of listings each store had, these numbers are rounded down by the way. Over half had more than 1,000 listings, with the majority of the other stores having very close to 1,000, with only a handful having 500 or less. The only thing I can take away from this is that the number of listings you have doesn't necessarily correlate with the number of sales you get. I think once you get past a few hundred, the impact of having more listings is small, but saying that, the more listings you do have, the more chance you have of getting found. So let's take a look at their sales. The very top store got over 2,000 orders for the previous 7 days, which works out to be an average of 312 stores per day, which is insane. Just for fun, if we take the price they sell shirts for and use the costings from Monster Digital on Printify, we can work out what profit they are potentially making. I'm going to use my own calculator for this. The link's in the description if you want to use it yourself. So this store sells shirts including shipping for $23.80 and total cost from Printify would be just over $12. So after Etsy fees, it's about $9 profit per shirt. Of course, this is assuming every order is for a shirt, which it's probably not. However, if we times $9 by their daily sales of 312, this comes to a profit of over $2,800 per day, which is amazing. Even if we do the same with the bottom store, they get 31 orders per day, and with their pricing figures, their profit comes to about $9 per shirt again, which comes to $279 profit per day, which is still very, very good. The next section is average age. I don't know what I get from this really, except the average age of these stores comes to 3 years, so make of that what you will. The next section is what I found the most interesting. Out of these top print-on-demand stores, 22 out of the 31 only ship to the US or Canada. I don't know if this means we should just be focusing on the US, or maybe this means that the competition with shipping to other countries is less. I'm not sure, but it's definitely something to think about and something to look more into. Anyway, that was just some interesting data points that I found and thought would be helpful to some of you. So thank you for watching, and if you want to learn more about print on demand and selling online, please consider subscribing if you haven't already.